Hey, buddy. I was wrong. I kept being like, well, I think we're done with snow for the season. We had a very dry season, and it was warming up considerably. I even considered, it might be time to start planting seeds. I think for this year is going to be much earlier than last year for our final frost date. I was wrong. Yesterday morning was quite wet. It was raining. Wife was getting ready for work, and she's like, the forecast says snow, and I went, it's not gonna snow. I still got that Georgia attitude of, yeah, right, when they predict snow. Living there my whole life, we would see snow once every 3-4 years, maybe, a light dusting, or enough to close down the entire state. That happened. But anyway, we did get snow. Roads fine, everything's good. No concern there. There's a bit of snow on the ground here where we're at. And we're back where we were last week because, funny enough, so last week was Saturday. I came to this spot after hearing about it the week before to see Mountain Bluebirds. And it was, after March 1st, you might start seeing them. And I went February 28th, a day too early. It wasn't quite a day, but it was pretty close because then I got an email about it on Tuesday that they had seen them on Monday. And they were going to see him again on Wednesday, the next day, which they did at this location. So we're back here today, even though this is kind of an off weekend. I did D&D last night and have it again tonight, and it's busier. We get lunch and things like that, but there's also bird watching meetup this morning in about an hour and a half. So I'm going to go spend an hour here and then head over to that because I'm really hoping. And my thought process there is that the birds came up from the south, but they're not going to head to the mountain just yet. They spend some time here. And maybe they'll have hunkered down with the snow rather than moving anywhere else. And so they'll just be, because it was like when you woke up yesterday, miserably cold and wet. And then it started snowing, and it snowed most of the day yesterday. So my assumption then at that point is that there's a good chance they will have hunkered down because it was wet and then just stayed there all day because then it was snowing. Oh, okay. Turning into the sunlight. Gonna need these back on. That is my optimistic idea that hopefully we will see them today. And if not, I don't know, next time I'm just going to keep going back to the spot until I find them, I guess. That seems like what it's going to be. I'm going to do my best to see them this year. Mountain Bluebirds. We have a much better shot of it than I think previous years because we actually have a location we're following up. They were spotted by multiple people at this location just a few days ago. So I think there's a chance. I just don't know what. I could be completely wrong with that. That's my idea, is that they've been here. They're here now. God, it's difficult to see with that sun right there. Ooh, right up this hill. Good thing we go slow. That is what I think could happen. That they hunkered down and that they're here, and now the sun is shining. It is going to be, somewhat warm. It's still 25 right now, probably closer to 20. I think that's a little inaccurate for the fact that the sunlight. And there's the dirt road. Oh, that was something we did last. I didn't go out on Monday like I was planning to because I got to get this adult stuff done. And so I went and had my oil changed in the car, and then I had a screw removed from my tire, and then I had to that patched it. They patched it, which was not an easy thing to do because nobody wanted to. It was not all the way up the sidewall like I've had nails in tires before, but it definitely was closer to the edge where the shops looked at it and went, nah. And I had to find a little independent one that was like, yeah, well, okay, it'll be a little annoying, but we'll do it. And it should be fine, and patched it, and it's held air since. Haven't had any issues. I've checked it. So I think it's fine. But boy, let me tell you, they will not replace just one tire on your car. I learned about that. This is the first time I've ever had a car that does move four-wheel drive, even though it has the option to switch it into two-wheel drive. If you get tires that are unbalanced in that way, it'll wreck the drivetrain. That's what I learned. I'm so sorry. This is really... What do they call it, a washboard? Yeah, it's real bad, but we're almost in the parking lot. But anyway, yeah, I was just through that. Now we're good. Yeah, they absolutely will not, for safety reasons and rules and regulations, swap out just one tire. And I tried to be like, well, what about two? Because it can't do two-wheel drive. And no, most of the shops didn't want to hear about it. The one I went to was real nice and was like, yeah, if you can switch into two-wheel drive, then there's no reason why you can't do that. It's not good for the four-wheel drive, but you need something right now. And I definitely could not afford to do four tires. I really couldn't afford to do two either, but I didn't have to do any because they patched it and it wasn't too bad. So thankful about that. It's great. There's plenty of life left on these tires too, which is funny because the guy was like, how long has it been since you replaced the tires? And I went, never. I've owned the car for almost 6 years now and I haven't had to do anything. He's like, yeah, these are fine. I just don't drive that much. I put maybe 20,000 miles on it in 5 years, which is not a lot because I don't commute anywhere. I get to work from home for right now. We're here. I don't have time to stop and chat too much. I got to get going. So we're going to go see what we can see. Hopefully, I have a better idea of which trail to go on now. I just need to northward face myself so I know which one it is. And it's that one going that way. I see. Okay. That is different from the one I went on last time, I believe. I'm going to go look and see what I can see. Hopefully see Mountain Bluebirds. We're here for about an hour. Let's see. Where? Back in the car. I did my best. Walked all around. Looked. It thought it saw it for a minute. Merlin popped up with like, oh, there's one. But I did not see them anywhere, unfortunately. We did get a nice, very cool moment where there was a hawk. I'm sure it was a red-tailed because they are the most common. I just don't know what they look like from underneath. Exactly. Let me double check. In my handy dandy field guide. I did turn that on. Good. Let's see. It's definitely not the red-shouldered. That's got that all the way through there. The red-tailed hawk. Huh. Well, it really only had a stripe towards the bottom part. There's a lot of morphs. This might warrant a bit more research. I'm still probably thinking it's a red-tailed hawk, but I'll need to just, well, okay, yeah. Yeah, it may have been, it must have been one of the morphs. Kreider's is very pale, but it's got like the thing that stood out to me the most was the tail only had, it wasn't striped all the way through with like black bars like the red-shouldered hawk has, but the red-tailed hawk, which is the most common, has a lot of different morphs. That tail definitely only had a dark band right across the edges of it, which there are several in here that look like that. I'll have to double check for sure when I get home and I look at the pictures, and I'll chime back in to say for sure, but without a doubt, yeah. Just, it would confuse me. In the clear light of the editing and with the book and everything, that little streak of a black band that I can see very clearly as opposed to just seeing it as it flew over my head, that's a very much
a red-tailed hawk. There are several morphs, as we're talking about. Some of them are lighter, and it is. I mean, you can tell just between these two here in the book, that's a very dark red tail and that's a very light red tail. But all of them, I don't think I can get the book that close, have that little black streak all the way across the edges of it. Really cool. These photos are excellent. I was really happy. This went right over my head, more or less. And like, even we can zoom in a fair amount here. And I got that. I thought my second photo was pretty good, although it's much lighter because it had lifted its wing up. It was no longer, right, like the sun had kind of reflected under there a little bit. And then I fully cropped in this one, which you can barely, like, I get the book out of the way here. But excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Red-tailed hawk.
Most likely red-tailed hawk, because that is the most common. And now we'll get going. Should be there on time. Should be nice and fine. And then maybe I'll see more mountain bluebirds there. Or more. Maybe I will see a mountain bluebird there. Maybe. Because it is still like... The meetup today is kind of a bit south of here. So there might be another chance. In which case I might have pictures of that to show. What was that? I see a bird as I get ready to go, and I go, huh? This is the, wait, all right. I was about to end it, but we'll just give it a minute. Let's see if the tradition continues. Nobody, okay. There's a sign there, there's a sign there. Those are the two signs that I'm going to watch for in my rear view as we go past, because over the last however many years I've been here looking for mountain bluebirds, ever since I came down off the mountain, where I only saw them a little bit, but the photos were not great. The last few times we've seen them, it's been as I was leaving in the car on a sign in the rearview mirror, where I'll see a flash of something and go, what's that? Blue stands out pretty well, but no. All right. That might be it for today. There might be more. Depends on what happens at the next meetup. Depends on what that hawk was. It might be just a red-tailed hawk, in which case, cool. Shouldn't have said just. There is no just this bird to me. They're all very cool. And it was really close. It hovered right over top. Like, pretty sure I got a nice clean shot of that, which is quite cool. All right, possibly bye, everybody.